A man reproduces himself through his child, so when he leave here, he can just smile. But I see fit to stay here a while, maybe buy a timeshare somewhere, rock bumware, beach chair, write a book each year. You can write yourself out of your blessings. Wreck your Lambo the first stages by driving too reckless. Time is too precious, these some obvious lessons. Please remind me to watch my step while I balance on edge and ski on the slopes of life. Slide down the Ave at night, watching them graphing graffiti on walls, that's the sight. Cars from Germany, I be pushing the fastest type. Looking at real estate, brother, I need the asking price. Imagine another rapper making me perspire. I got more styles and more flows, plus I'm much flyer. I got more heights to reach, but I'm already higher. I'm already on to the next thing. Peace and bless, King.
What is going on, people? It is Monday. I sound excited. It's the first Monday of July. Appreciate you guys for checking in with me each and every time on what it takes. I'm going back and forth from the camera to because I see myself. It was turned around before, but now I see myself, and I appreciate you, Mike. If no one else tells you today, I do. Man, let's really get quickly into it. It is July 4th. A lot of us are confused. I'm hoping that a lot of you took the day off Monday so you can celebrate it on Tuesday, or maybe you take the day off on Wednesday and then you celebrate it on Tuesday, and then you're not worried about going back to work on Wednesday. Why don't we put a bill in, a federal bill, the 4th of July? I know it sounds good, but how about we just celebrate it the first Monday? Kind of make it like a Thanksgiving thing. The first Monday of every July. That way we won't be in this weird place where I don't know if I'm going to work. I don't know why McDonald's sign is back there. I'm going to have to change that. I don't get it. I don't understand why this is so weird. However, we will deal with it until there is a change. I always tell people that's above my pay grade. Now that is above my pay grade because I'm not passionate enough to fight it. And there's nothing I can, and if I'm not going to fight it, then there's nothing I can do about it, right? The serenity prayer. All right, let's get quickly into it, guys. Remember to please like, subscribe, and share each and every Monday. Without a doubt, I will be here unless there's some crazy circumstance. Okay, cool. And so remember to check me out each and every Monday. Wednesdays, my brother Joel Simmons over at the Tenacity Foundation. Go check out that YouTube channel. Each and every Wednesday, he drops It Starts With Me. Check that out at 12:30. Of course, we also drop on Fridays. We try to do a live. Sometimes it's not a live. We pre-record it, but it's Community Beacon. We get a little vulnerable there. We talk about the community. We talk about relationships. We do talk a lot about business as well. We talk about fatherhood. Lots of great information you can find at Community Beacon. That's on Fridays at right around 6:30. Of course, The Male Perspective. I may have to drop a clip here at some point in time. The Male Perspective is an awesome show where a group of guys, we get together. We talk about our perspectives, whether it's business, relationships, fatherhood, community. So that's like a wider range of different views and perspectives. People coming from all walks of life. I tend to play angel's advocate on that show. So check that out. And then, of course, as we progress here, we're back to what it takes. Let's get into some real estate news. This one is for businesses, real estate businesses, and the landlords. Let's check this out. Okay, we talk about there were a lot of things passed. I don't know if you all were paying attention in June. Matter of fact, go check out Lou Moroto, Palm Beach Protection Group. Lou is the one who I got my concealed weapons permit. I did the class with Lou Moroto. He's a Marine veteran. He's also with the police department. Go check out Lou Moroto, Palm Beach Protection Group. So we're going into a place of where I believe as of July 1st, if I'm not mistaken, that they passed you don't necessarily have to have a concealed weapons license in order to carry and conceal. We're getting kind of like Texas. We're getting kind of like the Wild Wild West. So it's going to be interesting to see how this affects us over the next however long it takes if they do decide to repeal it. I want to think that if we get a Democrat as governor, pause, They may attempt to appeal that repeal. Is that what you do? Amend it. But concealed carry. So that was one of the things. There's also something else that passed, which it had to do with alimony. For those of you who have a divorce or there's something with alimony, family law. You all want to go check that out. Also for the fathers, I'm really going to get into that a law in regards to timeshare and having custody of your children, because that's big as well. So a lot of things happened in the past month as of July. So this is one of them. This is real estate related, and this is what we're really going to get into. It talks about the local rental regulations, and this is interesting because each municipality or area, so whether it was the county, whether it was the city, whether it was your town, they had different ordinances for rentals. They had different ordinances for Airbnbs, so businesses, etc. And so the federal or the state is attempting to make it a little bit more clear, and also in regards to the regulations. So let's read about HB 1417. It says it impacts local rental regulations. Faced with rising rental costs, a number of Florida cities passed landlord-tenant regulations that go beyond what is prescribed in state law. Okay, so we have, as you and I all know, rent has been going up at an increasing rate over the past 2 to 3 years. A lot of people got out of their homes, they sold their homes, and they went into rentals, and they're paying, and rental rates went up because of that, because there was a lot of capital in there. So why not pay it? I saw homes that were renting for $2,000, condos that went up to $4,500, $5,000 a month, and people were paying that ahead of time. And so it was almost like our regular prices went up to seasonal prices monthly. While seemingly well-intentioned, many of these local rules exacerbate rental cost problems over time. The policies cause a cooling effect among builders. Given a chance of metro areas with different rental regulations, builders often opt for the less regulated environments, right? Builders don't want you to tell them how much, and owners actually, let's not say the builders, the owners, so developers, because the builders are something totally different, but I get where they're coming from. They're not really, they don't have a construction background, whoever wrote this. But it says that in turn slows the construction of affordable housing in cities that often need it most. Once builders leave an area, competition grows, rents move even higher. So if we stop builders from coming in, the rents are going to go higher because we're not going to have enough places, homes. Rents move even higher, and the housing problem becomes even more challenging for those who can still afford to live there, which is interesting. You're starting to see a lot of garden-style apartments right off 95. I just saw 2 go up recently, right off 45th Street on either side, east and west, in regards to apartment housing. So what that is that means that you have to be more competitive because there's more homes, newer homes. So if you don't have a newer apartment, a newer space to rent, then your price would have to come down in order to compete. Residential tenancies regulation will fall under state law. Okay. There will eventually no longer be a patchwork of local regulations that drive away builders and cause confusion between landlord and tenants. The state is taking more control. Arguably, doably so, because sometimes you run into some local governments that just, they get a little power hungry and they don't really look towards the future. They look towards the now, which their constituents are thinking about now, but in the long term, it hurts when all of a sudden 2, 3, 4 years down the line, nothing was built in your municipality because of these different laws. Also, they work in concert with the Live Local Act, which creates a wave of new affordable and rental housing across Florida. So perfect. See, I get it, but sometimes it's like the wild, wild west with these different municipalities and local governments. It's interesting. For those of you who have been in government, I have about 10 to 12 years in government, and it's you get to see a lot of different thought processes and personalities. I'm in government because I said it just like that. Didn't it sound like you don't go on either side of it? So when I got into business, it was like, okay, this is a different deal. Because politics is something serious. SB 170 has the potential to help many local businesses, including vacation rental companies fight back against the harmful regulation causing them economic harm. Another thing, these Airbnbs, and you get into these different municipalities that didn't have homeowners associations where you could actually rent out say it was a single family home. You go in there, you can rent it out, no one to talk, no one to, so we saw a lot of local governments thinking, okay, we can make extra income. It's not profit. It was a new revenue stream for them. And so they started taxing, or some just decided we don't want this, especially in the smaller municipalities. You go to smaller municipalities, they say, we don't want this. We don't know how to control it. We don't know who you're renting to, what kind of environment you're providing. There were some crazy things that happened in certain properties where, the craziest that I heard of was someone who threw a crazy party. They left drugs on the property. The homeowners had it cleaned out, thinking that they got everything. Apparently, there was pills still left in here. Look at it; it's crazy. This happened in Wellington. Pills still left in there. A 2-year-old or toddler got a hold of it, overdosed, and died. So you hear these stories, and of course, this is an extreme. However, this is a litigious society, so one extreme incident will cause people to kind of think about what's going on, who's there. You can have 100 well-ran rentals, but that one rental that something crazy happens, similar in this case. But that's normally how we start to, it seems as if we start to make these different laws. We live in a very litigious society. And at one point, the minority was the minority, but now it seems as if since the minority can kind of come in and dictate, especially if the minority, if it's, let's say it's 2% out of 100%, if they're well organized, they can make different changes, so happy July 4th, praise America and our freedoms. Let's continue thinking about, that's something that we should think about tomorrow, July 4th, and our freedoms. Like at some point in time, we still want to keep our freedoms. So all of them, speech, all of it. So local government routinely passes ordinances that directly and indirectly impact local businesses. Sometimes they cut their nose off to spite their face, and many have unintended consequences under SB 170. Local governments must show the impact of a new ordinance on businesses and suspend enforcement if an ordinance is challenged in court. The law gives businesses new tools to challenge unnecessary and burdensome regulations. All right. And I'm back. Okay, so I'm going to talk quickly before I get off. I want to enjoy this 4th as well, do some work and enjoy this 4th, relaxing 4th, right? I want to talk about clarity. I've been talking about that for a couple of weeks now. It's really been on my mind. I think it's so very important. We have to keep the line clear throughout ourselves. If we don't have clarity, then we go in a bunch of different directions. I've worked with, here's a quick story, working with a buyer who does not necessarily have clarity on the type of lifestyle that they want, doesn't have clarity on how much they want to spend in regards to their budget, or at least they don't want to tell me. So I didn't have a space safe enough. But let's just say I did. Let's say I created a safe space. However, they don't have clarity on what it is that they want to spend, the type of lifestyle that they want to achieve. What ends up happening is a lot of wasted time, and they start to get frustrated with the process. I start to get frustrated with the process. And then what could be so simple if you had clarity from the beginning could be a very easy transition. So, moving is one of the biggest stressors that a person can have, especially if you're selling or buying. If you don't have clarity on what it is that you intend on having, and I want to switch this so that my number shows correctly. So I think it's very important to have clarity. And that also is for business, because if you don't really get clear, and specifically when I'm talking about getting clear, I mean getting clear on your values, because your goals will and can change. So if you get crystal clear on your core values, what it is that you want most in life, priorities to you, really getting clear on them, sitting down and asking yourself, why do I want this? And what makes me want that? And if I did get this, what does it bring to me, whatever that is? Then what happens is you start to bounce all into a bunch of different directions. You start to get frustrated with yourself and even your mode of thinking. And then what happens is that you're more than likely going to do something that puts you in the opposite direction. And you don't even know you're going in the wrong direction. And so I spent a lot of time in the last 2 weeks. And here's an interesting thought was the law of holes. And I'm a big proponent of this saying is that once you find yourself in a hole, you need to stop digging. So if you're going in the opposite direction because you're not clear, I think it's a good time for you to stop. Hey, and even this weekend, this holiday, July 4th, for you to stop and say, where am I going and where do I intend? Like where am I? Am I in a hole? Am I going in the right direction? And if not, for you to stop and get clear on your values so you can start moving in the direction of your values and that you're congruent with your values. Because if you do that, I promise you, there's two things that's going to happen. Number one is you're going to be, when you're congruent with yourself, number one is you start to be more at peace and calm and start to gain confidence. Well, there's three things. And you start to gain confidence. And last but not least, you gain calmness, patience, you gain confidence in yourself. And then the third thing is that you are able to make decisions more quickly and rapidly. That's whether you're going to go with a yes or whether you're going to go with a no, or whether you're just, you have these different options. And there's always a third option. That's a whole other conversation. But other than that, guys, I want you to enjoy your July 4th. Stay safe. Keep the pets safe. My dog is not a big fan of fireworks, so he'll probably be in the house at like 6 or 7 o'clock. He does not want to go on walks. He doesn't want to do anything. So keep the pets safe. Some of them do tend to have anxiety. I have one that has a lot of anxiety around fireworks. And keep your family safe. Other than that, I appreciate you all for checking in. I think this has been a good use of time. And we'll keep going. Welcome home. I appreciate you as always.
A man reproduces himself through his child, so when he leave here, he can just smile. But I see fit to stay here a while, maybe buy a timeshare somewhere, rock bumware, beach chair, write a book each year. You can write yourself out of your blessings, wreck your Lambo the first stages by driving too reckless. Time is too precious, these some obvious lessons. Please remind me to watch my step while I balance on edge of ski on the slopes of life. Slide down the Ave at night, watching them graphing graffiti on walls, that's the sight. Cars from Germany, I be pushing the fastest type. Looking at real estate, brother, I need to ask it price. Imagine another rapper making me perspire. I got more styles and more flows, plus I'm much flyer. I got more heights to reach, but I'm already higher. I'm already on to the next thing. Peace and bless, King.